Right, my name is Bushabi Jr. Now, during the last general election in Kenya, promises regarding bringing down the high cost of living were made by all the four presidential candidates. The Kenya Kwanza team took the day after the hotly contested August 9th polls and quickly assured Kenyans that they would fast-track measures to address the economic challenges affecting Kenyans. 100 days later, the new administration has had to balance the delicate line between poetic electoral campaign promises and the reality of managing the tight fiscal space. According to the latest survey conducted by Infrotrak, President William Ruto's administration scored a D on the delivery of his economic pledges in his first 100 days in office. Reader Kering Chebet with more.
We anchored our campaign on the platform of the economy premise on job creation and the well-being of the people of Kenya, and we have been working continuously on the measures to bring down the cost of living.
Kenyans have given President William Ruto a 52.1% score on the achievement based on his manifesto in his first 100 days of office. When he took over in August, President Ruto made a number of promises to be implemented within his first 100 days in office, which ended on December 23rd. According to the Infrotrak Voice of the People poll, which generated a citizenry scorecard on the president's first 100 days in office, the 52.1% is ranked at grade C, which means the performance needs improvement. Speaking during the unveiling of the poll, Infotrak Chief Executive Officer Angela Ambitho called on the president to focus more on his pledges.
So in a nutshell, on the elements that the president pledged to work on, his score is a C. The areas that seem very critical for him to address as a matter of urgency are the economic areas where he should address the, cost of living, the cost of basic commodities, and then the, expanding of the wealth creation bracket so that we have financial inclusion for those who are marginalized, women, youth.
On the economic pledge, Kenyans scored the head of state at 49.2%, meaning the area needs urgent attention. Enhancing financial inclusion through the 50 billion shillings Hustler Fund got the highest score of 58.8%, meaning Kenyans were pleased by this initiative. It was followed closely by the allocation of the funds to the county government, which got 55.3%, then increasing tax collections through the use of technology, which got a score of 52.9%. Improving the lives of low-income earners got a score of 49.6%. The pledges to reduce the cost of living and make food accessible to all Kenyans were the poorest performers, scoring 42% and 39.6% respectively. On achievement of his pledges on governance, Kenyans gave President Ruto a score of 54.2%. The first agenda on this pledge was the appointment of the 6 judges rejected by former President Uhuru Kenyatta, which the president delivered. Kenyans gave him a score of 57.2%. On the pledge to establish a women's rights agency in the office of the president, they gave Ruto 53.6%. Ruto had also vowed to implement the 2/3 gender rule in his governance pledge. On this, Kenyans gave him a score of 52.5%. Further, on the infrastructure front, Kenyans scored the head of state highly at 59.9%. On this, he had promised to return port operations to Mombasa, of which he issued a directive to the Kenya Ports Authority. Kenyans living in Nairobi and Nyanza gave Ruto the lowest score. Other key areas highlighted in the poll include foreign affairs, where President Ruto got an outstanding score of 62%.
These generally are then, the 13 areas that the president promised to work on the 13th of September. 13 pledges made on his inauguration day and during his inauguration speech on the 13th of September. And Kenyans have given their feedback on what they believe to be his performance in his first 100.
On other areas such as governance, he scored 54%, while his delivery to the social sector was scored at 51%.
So wale wanajaribu kuniharakisha, mimi nataka niwaambie mosmos, polepole. Wacha tupange kwanza uchumi wa Kenya iwe on the right footing. We cannot continue kujenga uchumi wetu tukikopa pesa, na ile pesa tunakopa ni ile wengine wamefanya saving. Lazima tuanze kujenga savings yetu kama taifa, ndio tuweze kujenga msingi wa taifa letu katika pesa ambazo tunakusanya kutoka wa Kenya.
First 100 days will be a disappointment to the extent of the administration not living up to their promises. They made very clear, concrete promises, and these were to be actualized in the first 100 days. Some of them, they have asked for more time. Sort of 100 days, they asked for a year. Some of them, they have turned their back against. The first 100 days are always difficult. This is a new government. You know, you get the feeling that these people in government had underrated the running government. They didn't know how huge it is. It's not easy to run government. Government is big, and the challenges, you get the feeling they are beginning to understand it's not as easy as they thought. For that reason, we will forgive them for some of the mistakes they are making, and we will give them 5 out of 10. Because at least the ship is floating.
For Masha Prime, Masha Television, I'm Rita Chebet Kering.